Yo, what is really good, my dudes? Today is MAY232016, and we got a new RuneScape update for y'all. We see a new quest in the Soliscape timeline revolving around the Barrows Brothers. Or, should I say, a new addition to the Barrows Brothers. It's gonna get interesting, folks. Let's look at it. So first off, to even start this quest, you're going to want to talk to that signature hero, Linza, that no one ever cared about. And you're going to need these skills on screen right now, so pause if you need to see it. Next, the only quest requirement is Missing Presumed Death. However, at the release of this quest, you're going to have to complete Rabba of the Darkness Part 7 in the Mega May event. However, it's not going to be a requirement once the event is over, which is strange. This is the first time they've ever done anything like this, but if you want to start on release, make sure you did that part of the event, because you won't be able to start if you didn't do it. Now, this quest is supposedly going to take about an hour to do, and that's if you read everything. If you spacebar through everything, I'm sure it's going to be actually a rather quick quest. As far as the rewards, we all know that this quest is going to involve a brand new Barrows sibling. However, it's going to be the very first Barrows sister, which is going to be really interesting, and it's going to be a new addition, just like Acrasay, to the original Barrows, not the Rise of the Six. And it's going to come with it a whole new set of armor, which is going to be level 80 instead of level 70, which is pretty weird in my opinion, because they are starting to saturate the level 80 armors a lot recently, especially with God Wars 2. But apparently it's gonna have a set effect that's gonna make it worthwhile. So it's gonna make regular Barrows hopefully a decent moneymaker again, if you're the type of person who happens to enjoy that content. Now, I don't want to reveal anything about the storyline of this quest, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who still wants to go out and do it. So that's all I'm going to really say about this quest. If you really want to know, get out there, log in, and get at the quest. Moving on, it's not the only thing we're going to see this week. We got a couple more updates coming up, so let's check it out. Next up, we see the graphical update of the Void Knight Outpost and the Pest Control minigame area. Now, it's not going to change anything about the gameplay or the way any of it feels, or rewards, or anything of that sort. It's just going to give it a nice new lick of paint, and I gotta say, it's looking pretty damn good. They're adding rain, my dudes. They're having rain in the actual startup area, the outpost itself, not in the minigame. But they're adding weather effects. This is the start of some weather effects that they say they're going to test out how it feels over here. And they might add it to older areas later if it helps the atmosphere, or new areas. It all depends on how it's going to play out here. But it's going to help with the immersion. It's going to look nice. And, I mean, if you really like it, then root for it, because it's going to really change the way the game plays. I know a lot of people have been asking for weather for a very, very long time, and we're going to start to see it now. It's going to be really cool. So those are the two major game updates this week. We got Kindred Spirits, and we got the Void Knight graphical rework. Not a bad week at all, my dudes. Pretty good week in RuneScape. And now moving on to this week's patch notes, my dudes. What do we got? It's actually not a very patch heavy week, I gotta be honest with you. There's very little. There's a couple graphical fixes here and there, and several to NXT, mainly focusing on crash and freezing fixes, especially those on Mac. So if you're using a Mac, hopefully it's going to fix some of the freezing and crashing issues you've been having. But other than that, nothing really major. I'm just going to note a couple ones that might be interesting to some people. Damage over time effects no longer damage raid bosses after death. I don't know if there's a mechanical exploit there. I'm not sure, but there's that. Spiders no longer spawn or walk underneath Araxi. That's going to help, because Araxi's stationary, and it's really annoying when spiders spawn under that. It's going to help out there. There's no longer a dialogue box when you loot the QBD chest, just to make your runs a little quicker, and it was not even necessary anyways, so glad that's gone. And they only noted 2 ninja fixes this week, and they're not even that fancy. All we got is 2 new custom layouts. for your interface. You know how you used to have only 2 custom layouts that you could save on the interface? You now have 3 and 4. So there's that. And the options menu for the quick loadout interface has been slightly reworked. I'm guessing to make it a little more smoother. Maybe it's not a drop down window. I don't even know. I haven't even looked at it yet. But that's the only 2 ninja fixes in this. Nothing really major, to be honest. It's rather on the dull end as far as the patch notes this week. But anyways, if you really want to look at them yourself, I will link them down in the description, so check that shit out yourself. And I guess that's it for me this week. If it was entertaining, helpful, useful, anything of that sort, why don't you give that shit a like, subscribe, comment, holla at you next week. Peace.